Let you experience different feeling. Have more fun. Alright, so today, welcome to Hello Guido's Chop Shop, second best gel blaster channel on the tubes and patch. Today we have the SLR AK brought to you. I don't even know who that is. Who's this? But it is an SLR AK and it's the upgraded version according to the box. And the SLR, incidentally, one of the better value for money sort of starter blasters that I have seen on the market. Let's see what's in here. Ooh, foam, big block of foam. Oh, I like this. A big chunky charger. Don't know why it's so chunky. Little strap. Big AK mag. AK style P mag. G mag. G mag? G. Polymer AK mag. And whoo, key mod. Love a good key mod. Orange upper. Let's get this out of the box and have a look. Whoa, that orange. Oh, does have a muzzle device, flash hider thing. Man, it's hefty too. The flash hider is like heavy. This whole thing's actually got a bit of weight to it. It does feel quite hefty. It looks like a lot of it, we got a lot of it being polymer. Polymer here, polymer here. That's metal. The outer is metal. The barrel flash hider device there is metal. Got a nylon handguard here and looks like nylon up here. This, fortunately, in the box there is a black one. This is metal. This one is polymer. So the orange one is polymer and the black one is metal. Now I'm immediately going to change this out. There we go. Much more pleasing to the eye. Let me tell you. What have I done? Maybe I should put the hinge on first, in accordance with the prophecy. Alright, there we go. Much more pleasing to the eye now, isn't it? Now, I want to weigh this because it feels hefty. Let me grab a scale. Alright, got a scale there. 2 kilos. Something's wrong with my scale, but it's about 2 kilos. Now, to get to the battery compartment in this, there is a little pin just here. You have to push in order to lift this upper rail off where the battery is located. Connect it up. And then hopefully it should slide back in relatively problem free. Ah yes, like all front battery AKs, slides in with ease. Alright, let's see what this sounds like. Safe, works. Semi works. Assume that's auto. Auto. Awesome. Sounds interesting. Pretty snappy. Let's load it up, get some chrono readings. One thing I just noticed rolling around in the box was a little pin. This little pin here, it's been brought to my attention that it actually goes on into the front there, and that's what actually locks the muzzle brake into position when you're screwing that in. There, it locks in there. See, like that. So it's always the correct orientation, which is cool. I like it. Arguably a little pointless feature, but yeah, feature nonetheless. Also, it has operational mag prime, which is a cool thing. I like. Let's chrono this now that I've got it loaded up. All right, here we go. To 83. Sorry, 287.3. Did I say 283? 276. 282. It seems to be missing a shot. 279. 271. 279. I'm just going to try full auto. Semi seems to be having a little bit of issue with the feeding. Alright. A very consistent average 277 FPS. Although there was some feeding issues there. Alright, so a little inconsistent on the firing. Now, I don't know, I was using AKAs. There's a few in there. Come on. I was using AKAs, filtered AKAs. I don't know if that's whether it doesn't like AKAs or not. I might try some other softer gels later, but didn't seem to be feeding super consistently there. It was kind of missing a shot and then firing, then missing a shot and then firing. Incidentally, the mag is one of the smoothest AK mags I've ever dealt with before. That just the way that mag goes in is super smooth. It goes in with like zero effort. Some of the AKs that I've dealt with in the past, you sort of got to find that catch at the front and then push it in, and this just seems to just go in, which is good. I like that. The stock is a folding stock. Interesting little mechanism here. You lift it up and then fold it around. The bracket, the hinge that mounts to the back is metal, so nice and solid there as well. Does look like a nice solid little unit. I think this looks like the main receiver is nylon with little touches of metal accents here and there. It's certainly a good weight. Certainly got a good weight to it. It doesn't feel like a lightweight, that's for sure. Let's have a close look at the details, shall we? Just a close look at some of the details here. It's got some embossed engraving there. Made in Serbia, apparently, is what it says on it. Rails, and then down here, it doesn't. The fire select option says safe and fire. It doesn't actually say anything about auto or semi, but it is safe up here, semi on the next notch, and then full on the bottom notch. Got the MOE AK grip, very nice looking. Back on the other side here we have the Optic Rail, standard sort of AK style. It's metal as well, so it looks nice and solid for mounting an optic on that. Let's take it apart, see what's inside. Alright, I will start by removing the dust cover again. I've already done it once this video, do it again for the purposes of the teardown though this time. Alright. Oh, that's very solid up here. There's like another, on top of, underneath the dust cover, there's like another dust cover. That's traditionally with most AKs, once you remove that, you've kind of got direct access to the blowback or recoil sort of unit. This one has like a nice cover that goes over the top of that. Alright, I guess we'll take that out eventually. What I'll first do though is take the motor out. This is interesting. It's got a little Allen screw and a hinge situation under here. So you undo this Allen screw and that hinges off. Not like most AKs where there's a single screw there and then the grip comes off. So it's making me think that it might not be your standard V3 type box. So what do we got? Looks like a 2mm Allen key. Yes, it is. Undo that. And then this looks like hinges open, motor comes out. Motor wires are quite tight on there, which is good because you never want them to sort of just slide off on their own. Let's see if I can get this one off. There we go. I think I broke that one. Have to solder that one back on. Alright. Motor out. Oh, whoa. That is really interesting. I've never seen that before. It doesn't have a pinion gear. Is that for real? No pinion gear. Wow, okay. Cool story. Alright, so I just prepared this wire that I managed to snap off trying to get it off of the motor. I didn't put too much tension on that and it just seemed to snap off quite easily, but yeah. Regardless, we move on. It's nice and solid now. The pinion gear, I solved the mystery of the missing pinion gear as well while I was soldering that on. There it is. Just came rolling out. look at that. There it is. Not a grub screw in sight. So that just kind of slid off the end of the motor. Whee! No grub screw in sight, which makes me question, where is the grub screw? Well, so we're going to find out when we pull this apart. So while not having the grub screw or pinion gear on your motor when you remove it is probably not the greatest thing that you expect when pulling a brand new blaster out of the box, at least it is a metal gear, which would make me believe that inside here there is also going to be more metal gears, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Metal gears in a standard blaster is always a good thing. Alright, let's get a screwdriver up in here and get these get this pistol grip off. Looks like a Phillips head. Number 1, I'm going to say. Could be a number 2. Yeah, number 2. It's a nice looking grip. The Magpul MOE style AK grip. And down it comes. Alright, interesting. It's a clear gearbox casing, some sort of polycarb. I've been informed that the manufacturer of this may be Li Hui, who are the guys behind the Vector and the AUG, and they all had the clear polycarb gearbox in them, but they were renowned for being some of the strongest polycarb gearboxes that there were on the market, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. Let's continue on with the teardown. I'm just going by the look of this. I'm going to say this is not a standard V3 type gearbox. Let's move on. I think I might take this stock off. I'm not sure if it's necessary, but I'm just going to take it off because it's going to probably end up getting in the way otherwise. 2.5mm Allen screw. Another 2.5mm Allen screw. Comes off, and that's a nice solid mounting block in there that stock mounts to. Looks like there's maybe a 2mm Allen screw in the bottom here. I'm going to say that's what that mounting block screws into. So, oh yeah, okay. Now I might take the fire select off. It looks like it may be a 3mm Allen screw. Alright. Now there's a couple of little things here. Might undo these little screws. Might undo these Ah. Screw heads rounded from factory. Nice. Always a good. It's always a good sign when you're getting screw heads that have been rounded off from the factory. I like it. I don't know if this bit has to come off, but seems like a logical step to me. Just undo all the screws and see what happens. There is another little screw hiding behind this cocking lever. Cocking lever. I call it the charging handle. Ah, mate, it's a cocking handle. Alright. Can't get my screwdriver in there. So obviously that section cannot come up until the charging handle section is off. I might try taking this, taking down this front section as well, just because why not? Why not? So there's three, look like 2mm Allen screws on the bottom here. I'll take them out. See where that gets me. Alright, those 3 screws off. And now, it looks like this entire lower section comes off. Alright, there we go. So that lower is all nylon except for the trigger guard and the optic mount. Now what we've got here is very interesting. So we've got the gearbox, the T-piece and barrel assembly, the battery lead, and it appears that there's some sort of recoil weight on top here as well. Now that I've got access to this last screw here, I'll be able to take that off and have a look. Yes, there is. Okay. So, I don't think this is the appropriate way to be removing this, but I'm doing it anyway. So, there is a very chunky recoil weight on top of this gearbox. Let me see if I can pop it off. Wow, that's weighty. Weighty. Incidentally, there's also a little switch here, which is for your mag priming switch. All the wiring goes forward into the handguard, which is obviously where the battery lives. I'm going to open up this so that I can free those wires. Alright, I'm just going to undo some more screws in the bottom of this handguard. There's 3 screws in the bottom of this handguard, and I think this lower handguard portion might come off. Possibly might have been smarter to remove the handguard first when the blaster was all together. Who knew? So there's a pin in the front here that I may have to punch as well. Let's get the rest of this out of the way. I'll punch this pin out. There we go. That handguard comes off. Wow, aluminium outer barrel here. Very complicated little piece here. Let's get it apart. Screws, more screws. Well, I gotta hand it to Lee Hui. This is definitely one of the most complicated gearboxes I've ever come across. It's relatively straightforward, but it's got some, like the box itself is relatively straightforward, but it's got some really complicated features. Hopefully I can get this piece off here. Let's just, let's take this safety off. Let's have a look at this weight for starters. This is a recoil weight that goes back and forward with the plunger. So when the plunger goes back, it drags that weight back, and then it shoots forward, and that weight rocking back and forth gives you some recoil. Now, I'm just going to flip this over. On the side of that weight is actually a really long arm, which comes backwards and forwards here, and you might have seen that little bad boy just pop out there. So when this weight goes forwards, this pushes this forwards, pushes this bar forwards, which is connected to this other bar via a spring. So it's just sort of not sitting together properly on my desk here, but there's that little guy that comes out of there, sits in here. So when this recoil weight comes forward, this pushes that guy backwards, this guy here pushes this guy backwards, which pushes your bolt or your ejection port / charging handle back. That is metal, by the way, as well. So metal. So no wonder it feels so hefty. You've got all this metal weight shifting around while you fire it. Yeah, it's certainly a complicated little beast. There's a little guy that pops out to push this back. Yes. Wow, fun. Metal gears inside. It looks like a standard gear set, although it does have, is that a proprietary? Okay, I'm just gonna get this power wire out of here because I'm sick of trying to work with this barrel hanging off the front of it. This is a cool little thing here. I love this. Whee! Can't get enough of that. That's a whole mechanism. Like they've actually, alright, this black metal piece on the back just comes off. Now we should be able to get the spring out in standard fashion. Alright, now I've got to get this weight off the top of this thing. This is like a V3. It's kind of like a V3, but it's like a, I don't know, some weird customized and changed V3. It's got this crazy weight on the top of it, and all this extra stuff. I mean, it's cool. It's gonna take me like an hour to put it back together, but hey, it's definitely something special. I wouldn't go, like, honestly, if I was you, I wouldn't go to this effort. I wouldn't bother taking this apart. I would basically use it as it is, and if it ever broke, just cry or something, because it's not something that I would ever want to take apart. I mean, look at this, the top, this slidey part. Oh no, they've actually left a room for it to slide out. I was going to say they've boxed it in with this plastic molding on the front here, and I was almost going to say it's boxed in at the back too, but they have left a little slide, enough for you to get that out. Although it is going to be a real pain, but nonetheless, it can be removed. For the mag prime here, it's like a little tiny Phillips head screw, or whatever the tiniest screw size is. Tiny, tiny, tiny little screw. Alright, get the selector off. Ooh, it's getting crazy now. Down into what looks like a gearbox. I'm gonna bring you guys in closer. Alright, so you can see it does very much resemble somewhere between a V3 and some Leehoo special thing. Alright, so I'm going to have to get this metal bar off the top here. It's always fun. I'll use a screwdriver to lever it back. Alright, all of the screws. Oh, that's a tight one. Now it looks like it's got like a V3 style trigger, and those triggers are annoying as heck. It is a metal trigger, by the way, as well. Another reason why I'd probably suggest don't bother getting into this. If you actually buy one of these, it's not, I don't know, if you want to do upgrades, I'd suggest it's probably not the sort of blaster you buy with the intention of doing upgrades. It's not something that I'd want to be pulling apart often, that's for sure. This little V3 style grease guard that they put, stop the grease from going on the trigger, and there it goes. So after retrieving the grease guard from my floor, I must have neglected to press record on the camera while taking all this apart, but I'll give you a rough overview of what you missed out on. Not much. It does have a standard set of gears, albeit metal gears. Looks like might be a proprietary anti-reverse spring, but the catch is the same. It's got your standard Lihui 60% porting on the cylinder. The seal from the O-ring is okay, but not great. The cylinder head there could probably do with some love. I might do something about that. The nozzle is actually it's a really nice, it's a really long nozzle, and it's got a really nice firm fit. So even though it doesn't have an O-ringed nozzle, it does have a good air seal in the nozzle. So that's cool. Still got a nylon plunger, which is a bit sad, but that's how it is, I suppose. Would be cool to have a metal ladder gear on there. Of course, then you're going to have a specific piston that's going to be able to do all your blowbacky type stuff in there. I might chuck an O-ring in that, just because. What can't go wrong, just chuck an O-ring in while I'm here. Alright, so I put a green O-ring in there, and I did put a little bit of Teflon tape around this cylinder head seal, and that's made it feel a bit nicer. Probably negligible amount of performance gain, I'd say, from just that seal, but made me feel good doing it while it was here. Now I'm going to put all this back together. This is a bit disappointing. This could have been metal, this should have been metal. Other than that, I don't see anything that's going to break anytime soon inside this gearbox, except for maybe that piston. So, yeah, Lihui, why would you go to the effort of putting all the metal gears in and not the piston? Side note, I think because I had accidentally forgotten to hit record when I pulled this apart, I did pull the whole thing apart and try and find the Pinion Gear grub screw. It was nowhere in the box, which is good, because I'd rather it be nowhere in the box than jamming up gears somewhere. But yeah, it was nowhere. It was just not there. So, yeah, God knows what happened to that one. I don't know. Sometimes when they fall out, you see them stuck to the side of the motors because they're magnetic. But no, nothing. I can't. Yeah, mystery. Don't know. I mean, for what it's worth, as far as V3-ish style gearboxes go, this does seem relatively easy to put together. It doesn't, everything seemed to pop into its place relatively easily. The trigger on these AK boxes is always a pain. That popped in, it all popped in pretty easily. Yeah, so not reassembly isn't any more difficult from any other V3, I guess. Just all the extra little complications of the weights and stuff on top. Anyway. Yeah, okay, if I was one of the cool kids on YouTube, I'd have the SpongeBob meme that goes, a few hours later, and bam, here it is, done. Alright, I did do a couple of things inside with the O-ring and stuff, so I will do an after chrono. Incidentally, I also swapped out the AKAs that I was originally doing now to ATs from Ozgel Armitex. So we'll do some quick chrono testing. Alright, the after chrono. Lock it into 282, 279, 279. 282, 279. Is that firing? 242, 279, 284, 282, 298, 274, 282. 280s-ish, 281 average. Incidentally, I, as I mentioned, I changed it to ATs, and it feeds a lot better than it was feeding with the Alpha Kings. I don't know why that was. There was some sort of weird feeding anomaly with the AKAs. It seems to be better on the ATs. So take that as you will. Well, there you go. I think it's a pretty good little unit for like starting out. I think it's a good price point. It's an incredibly complicated internal blaster. So if you were buying something with the sole purpose of doing it up, this is not the blaster. but it, I think, like a good little, if you just want something out of the box that works, and my only gripe is probably that nylon, the nylon piston. I don't know how long that'll last with the metal teeth on the sector, but if you're not overspringing it and you're not upgrading anything inside it, yeah, it should be okay. It shouldn't wear out too much if you're not overdoing it. So I think if you just want to get it out of the box and just play with it, I think you're on a winner. Very complicated otherwise, but you know, nice solid little bit of gear. Alright, don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that crazy BS. And if you're interested in buying me a patch or a coffee, you can buy me a coffee, link below, and patch, you can hit me up on Facebook. Peace.